Hi everybody, this is Joanne, and here at the University of Illinois we take our bugs very seriously, and we have opportunities for you to interact with insects in different ways. The first is actually called BugScope, and this is an NSF sponsored project where you, as a public school, a private school, a home school, or an individual, can send in your insects to the University of Illinois, and we will prepare them, set them up on a scanning electron microscope so you can look at them up close. The great thing about this project, you can control the microscope from your own computer at your school or home. So I highly recommend you give that a try. We also have something called the Insectopedia Film Festival, where of course we feature films that have insects as the main theme. So this is set up by one of our authors and is a great crowd pleaser because it's also interactive. You get to see live insects, see insect collections, and just improve your knowledge of insects through the whole thing and watch some maybe not so great films, but they do feature insects, so that's all in fun. So I have 3 books today, and all 3 books are listed alphabetically, and they are all about insects. But that's where the similarities end. They all have a different personality and a different flavor and will appeal to different audiences. The first book I picked up at the library, and I'm going to manage to get a copy for myself because I really enjoy it. It's called Insect Museum by Sonia Dourlot, and she was hired as a photographer to photograph an insect collection. And ultimately what came out of that was this beautiful book. Each insect or bug, we have spiders and scorpions in here, are set up in a 2-page layout where we see her photograph of the bug, and then a facing page with lots of really interesting information. She even has a little circle that shows the real size of the bug, because of course we're hoping they're not that big. Most bugs can't get too big. It makes it very difficult for them to get themselves around if they're too large, which is good for us. Here is the lemon butterfly. Now, lemon butterfly is not found under the letter L, as one might think if we were looking alphabetically. It is under Gonepteryx Romney, so it's under G. So we have filed these insects by their Latin names, and I think that's a sneaky way to learn Latin. However, I guess if you were looking for grasshopper, you might have a hard time finding it unless you know or the Latin genus and species. Oh, we even have a millipede here. Just thought you'd like to see that. Just to show we're not all about insects, about bugs. All right, the second book will appeal to people who maybe don't want only the science of bugs. Maybe they want to know a little bit about the history and the anthropology and the culture and how human beings interact with insects and how insects have played a part in human history all throughout. And so this book has won a lot of praise and acclaim. It is called Insectopedia by Hugh Raffles. And again, this is a book that is set up alphabetically. Now, the titles of the chapter have very little to do with the insect. Letter A is air, and E is evolution, G is generosity, L is language. And then it's interesting because we go on to V is vision. So we have terms that are more abstract, and we have terms that seem directly related to insects. These are a collection of essays and vignettes, so these chapters, as you might call them, can be short, they can be long. And this is one of those books where maybe you won't sit down and read it from start to finish, but you can pick it up at different times, read a different letter, and learn something new about how we have gotten along with insects through the years. So I'm recommending that book as well. And finally, I'd like to recommend my last alphabetical book, which is written by Berenbaum, the founder of the Insectopedia Film Festival, and a force unto herself. She has written several other books as well, but this time she has put together a compendium of urban tales related to insects, and she goes about myth-busting or debunking them all. This book is called The Earwigs Tale, a modern bestiary of multi-legged legends, and there's some beautiful drawings in this book as well. And each legend, of course, is listed in alphabetical order. And so for the letter M, we have the mate-eating mantis. Maybe we've heard before that the female will devour her mate after mating. That seems to not be the case, maybe in captivity, but in natural settings this doesn't seem to be true. May's style is very chatty, very conversational, very charming. I enjoyed her book. Of course, it's humorously written. I love to recommend fun books. This book would appeal to middle schoolers and high schoolers and adults, even scientists. So I'm highly recommending all three of these books. Again, The Earwig's Tale by May Berenbaum, Insectopedia by Hugh Raffles, and Insect Museum by Sonia Dourlot. Right? Enjoy reading about insects.